Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We're still working on Measure for Measure. We're getting towards the end of it, and we get to hear from Isabella again today in Act 5, Scene 1. So the stuff that has happened. Claudio has not been killed, but the only people that know that are the Duke and the Provost. Everybody else thinks that Claudio was murdered for getting his common-law wife pregnant. The Duke has come back dressed as the Duke. He's no longer pretending to be a friar, and he has met everybody outside the gates, and he's playing the, oh, Angelo and Aeschylus did such a great job part as people are starting to meet him. And yesterday Isabella sort of raised her hand and was like, I have a complaint against Angelo, and the Duke's like, no, he's fine, he's great, you're crazy. And she was like, please don't call me crazy and listen to what I have to say. And the Duke was like, well, she's actually making a little bit more sense than a lot of sane people, so okay, tell me your story. And she starts to tell her story, but Lucio keeps interjecting because he was there. She's like, you know, I was sent to by my brother, this guy, Lucio, who asked me to go to Angelo, at which point Lucio's like, yep, that was me, I was there. And everybody just keeps turning to him and is like, just shut up, it's not your turn to talk. And he's like, yeah, but it was my turn to talk. And he's like, no, it wasn't your turn. And it's this like comic moment thrown into this whole weird thing that's going on, but it's also causing a lot of frustration because Isabella just wants to tell her story. And after they tell Lucio to stop talking for like the 16th time, she says, in brief, to set the needless process by, how I persuaded, how I prayed and kneeled, how he refelled me, and how I replied, for this was of much length, the viled conclusion, I now begin with grief and shame to utter. He would not, but by gift of my chaste body, to his concupiscible and temperate lust release my brother, and after much debatement, my sisterly remorse confutes mine honor, and I did yield to him. But the next morn betimes, his purpose surfeiting, he sends a warrant for my poor brother's head. So she's not telling us anything here that we don't know already, but she gets to use the very confusing word concupiscible, whatever, it's of the body, basically, is what it means. So anyway, what she's saying is that she was misled, that she was propositioned and told that her brother would be freed, but instead her brother has been beheaded, and therefore Angelo is slime. And the Duke is like, what? No, have you seen him? He's reputable and respected and all these sorts of things. Like, no, I don't believe a single word that you have to say. And he even goes so far as to have Isabella arrested. She's like, okay, I'm going to leave now. And he's like, yeah, you are. And these two guys are going to take you off to jail. And she's like, what? And he's like, your story's so crazy. Like, is there anybody else who could maybe like corroborate what you have to say, or anybody else that knows you were coming here to say that? And she's like, well, Friar Lodovick, but he's not here. Friar Lodovick being the name that the Duke used when he was pretending to be a friar. So then Lucio pipes up and he's like, oh, I don't trust that Friar Lodovick. And it turned into another one of those like comic moments where Lucio is throwing in the stuff that he needs and wants to say that nobody really wants to hear. And he starts calling the Friar Lodovick, who's actually the Duke. He's like, yeah, he was a saucy fellow, he was a scurvy fellow, all that sort of stuff. And the Duke's like, I'm not sure that that's correct. And Friar Peter steps forward at this moment. He's like, actually, it's not correct. He was a good man. Friar Lodovick was a good and honest man. And he has some more to say about that, but we will hear that tomorrow. I will see you then. Mwah.